Good Wednesday evening, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Talk Live here on the LTL Media channel. I hope everybody had a great day and wow, such a day of very interesting and very compelling testimony in this case. And I tell you, it's, we're only day 11 or 12. I think day 11 already. And it's been absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And I got the opportunity to listen to it at work. I couldn't watch it. Kind of snuck my phone in my pocket, put a little earbud in, and was listening to the testimony today. And I had an update at around 2 o'clock today. I dropped a little update on my channel talking about all of the events in today's trial tiers. We had Ryan Nagel that slipped and talked about the FBI testifying in front of the FBI and speaking with the FBI. We had Ricky D that got up there and said he didn't hear or see anything. Heather Maxson that talked about when Ricky D pulled up in front of 34 Fairview, the distance between Karen's SUV and Ricky D's truck, his F-150, was about a half a car length. So that gave them a very good sight of Karen's SUV. And they testified that they didn't see anything strange or any damage to her car, didn't see any damage to their lights, didn't notice or recall any of that. They were asked, did they see any type of body or person outside the vehicle? And they all testified, said they didn't see anything. Very, very interesting. And then we ended with Colin Albert today. We didn't get into Cross, but that will be tomorrow morning. And I think Jackson paused that perfectly. So let Colin sit a little bit tonight and stew. And then we heard Alan McCabe. Oh my God, the timing of the crocodile tears just before Colin gets on the stand and says, oh my God, we've been harassed and all this stuff. I didn't see one tear. I didn't see one tear through all of that, but then argued with David Yannetti about the 365 life data, saying that it was wrong. Well, I got news for you. Usually, in most cases, more often than not, data, digital footprints are accurate unless you are doing something with that data. You are manipulating it, like some possible text messages that we saw today. Interesting stuff, but we're going to get in all of that. I want to do an absolute recap tonight because I've missed a lot of it, and I've been trying to do my best to keep kind of in the mix with everything. The unfortunate thing, well, the unfortunate thing is I work a full-time job, so it's tough for me to get in there and do the mix. And I have to say, all of the people that have been doing their part and continuing to do what they've been doing, Tom, CPU, the Glare has been killing it. Mike over at Young Jerks, Sean on the golf has been killing it. And of course, the man on top that started the Free Karen Reed movement, Aiden Turtleboy Carney, now sitting in during trial, being able to do that. And we saw a ruling today that Judge Bev has said that he's going to allow him to sit in with Trooper Michael Proctor and Trooper Bukaki. So good stuff there. But we will get into a lot of the review today. And before we do this, I just want to jump up in the chat and just say hi to everybody. Let's see. Who do we got? Oh, by the way, real quick, I understand, and I'm missing this. I want to let everybody know, Jess Machado had to postpone tonight. Reason being is everybody knows what happened with Jess out in front of the courthouse with Grant Smith Ellis the other day. And she was advised by her attorneys at this point in time to pause on publicly talking and pause right now on going on any types of shows until they can look at her case and kind of clear things up there. So Jess will be back. I did get confirmation from Jess. She will be back at some point. But right now, like I said, under her attorney, she has been advised to hold back. So I'll give her that opportunity when she's ready to speak via Twitter or any of her social media accounts. And then she did promise me sometime next week we will reconvene, which is perfectly fine. Jess, do what you need to do. I'm here when you're ready, and we'll reconvene when you're ready. So let's do this. Let's go up. And I just saw this really quick. AK checks in. AK says, serious question. What are we all going to do when this trial is over? Well, I'm going to tell you, AK. We are going to celebrate. We are going to celebrate the fact that Karen Read has been acquitted, and the fact that when this is all over, all of the information will be out there to properly investigate the people that murdered John O'Keefe. That's what's going to happen. We are going to celebrate. I just want to pull up Hester checking in. Hey, what's going on? Buckeye, first time here. Howdy, welcome in. Thank you so much. Carrie B checking in saying, good evening, everybody. Good evening to you. Dina Jams over here. She said, happy hump day. She's a channel moderator and a member. I appreciate you. And I want to let everybody know tonight, any donation that comes in via Cash App, via Super Chat, any way that it goes out there, what we're going to do is donate 25% of all donations tonight. And I've been keeping this theme through trial. 25% of all donations tonight will get kicked back to Karen Read's Defense Fund. And what I've been doing is posting receipts on my Facebook page and my YouTube page for transparency. And the bottom line, you can do this. You can go right to the defense website, look there, and it will say recent donations. And I've been putting up there LTL Media chat raiser, and then putting the date for transparency. And what we do is we keep a running total here in the chat. And then, of course, at the end, 25%. So I did see a $2 super chat come in already. We'll take 25% of that. NH Woman, thank you so much for your super sticker. Actually, it's a $3. So let's add that to the total, and hopefully we can accumulate. My goal tonight is to at least kick back $50 to Karen Read. So let's try to get to that goal tonight, and I appreciate it. So let's see. Darcy's here. Thank you. Briggy B's here. Scott is here. What's going on, Scott? How are you? Nice to see you. I'm going to be out in front of court on Friday with you guys. I will be down in court on Friday. I'm probably going to live stream from there bright and early. Says, looks great. Sounds great, Brian. Thank you. I got the new microphone hooked up. Got the new computer hooked up. Super stoked about that. I got shocked. I took a nasty shock last night hooking this sucker up. Electricity literally flowed through my body. Got my heart rate up to about 140 beats per minute, which was great and fun for about 5 minutes. I call my girlfriend, Casey. She's out cold in bed. And I literally say, I just got shocked. Well, how the hell did you do that? Well, I'm hooking everything up in the studio. Well, why would you have the electricity on when you're hooking things up? Well, that's just the way it is. And my fucking heart was like off the chart. Finally laid down on the floor. Got my heart rate down. Got blasted. And I will make sure going forward that we turn things off, because I don't need a blast to the ticker right now. I need to live, because we need to get through this trial and make sure that Karen Read comes on the other side acquitted. And I'm going to tell you, I've literally been sitting here for the last, 11, 12 days at trial. And I've been saying to myself, what has the Commonwealth brought forward that has shown or implicated that Karen Read murdered, not even like assaulted, not even hit John by accident, murdered John O'Keefe? I haven't seen one shred of evidence so far. Haven't seen it so far. And I get my messages. There are people that reach out to me that are on the pro Canton side, the McAlbert side, and think that Karen is completely guilty. But I want to throw these things at you. Let me throw some of these things at you. All of you that are watching, they're on the McAlbert side. Let's see. Higgins and Brian Albert destroy their phones. Why? Why would they do that after they were told not to do that? Higgins got a proffer. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Higgins got a proffer. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Feds have investigated the investigation. And, the feds don't get involved with something if they know that they don't have the goods on it. So there's that. John's Apple Health data shows he confirmed that he ascended 3 flights of stairs. That has been confirmed. Let's see. FBI confirms that the injuries through an independent investigation, not hired by the Commonwealth, not hired by the fence, said on the record, I think the second hearing before we started trial, Alan Jackson gets up in open court, puts it on the record that the FBI did an independent investigator, hired an independent investigator with 3 PhDs in accident reconstruction. And their conclusion was the injuries to John O'Keefe do not match injuries that would be being hit by Karen's SUV. On the flip side, the damage to Karen Reed's SUV does not match up with any injuries that she hit someone. So there's that. And then lead detective Michael Proctor is under an internal affairs investigation. So I'll leave those thoughts with you, but we're going to get to some testimony because I want to go through this. So let's start with Julie Nagel. Let's start with Julie Nagel on cross. I'm not going to go through direct because I'll literally lull people to sleep. Lully lally. But let's go through oh, actually, I'm sorry, this is the wrong video. Let's go through Julie Nagel. Let's see. I got a text real quick. Let me just answer this. Maz, if you want to jump on, buddy, I'll drop you the link if you want to jump up here with me. Maz Media in the chat. I'll drop him the link. Maz, if you want to jump on, please help yourself. Come up. We'll watch some testimony together. Let me get to this real quick. I just saw some. Chantel, thank you for becoming a new member here at LTL Media. Appreciate it. If you go to my homepage, you can scroll down to the bottom and get access to all members only content. So thank you so much. We'll add $5 to the total. Right now we have $8. 25% of that will go to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. Snippins checks in with a $4.99 super sticker. Add that to the total as well. And then also we had Annie jump in with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Annie, for your kind donation. She says, free Karen Reed. Free Karen Reed. But Maz, if you want to jump on, the link is dropped to you. Please feel free. All right, let's go through Julie Nagel. Julie Nagel, she talked about in Cross for the very first time, this mystery blob, the mystery blob, 5 foot, 6 foot mystery blob, and then gets questioned and said, well, why haven't you said this before? Why didn't you think this would be pertinent to an investigation that you know that someone died on someone's front lawn, and you're going to come in court and just talk about this today? You can't tell me that she hasn't been coached, that she's not the monkey wrench, that they wanted her to jump in and be the monkey wrench. Of course. All right, let's play through some of this.
Good afternoon, Ms. Nagel.
Good afternoon.
On January 28th of 2022, you got to 34 Fairview Road at about 6 or 7 p.m.?
Correct.
And you didn't leave until 1:30 or 2 a.m., correct?
1:45 around there, yeah.
Okay.
Diabetes.
So you were there approximately 8 hours?
I'm not really sure, but
You know, the funny thing with all these witnesses, you know, and this was funny because Aiden said this on a show the other night, and I can't take credit for it. And I love what he said. He said, you know, the Commonwealth has been calling witnesses that, you know, witnesses that don't witness anything. If you're a witness, aren't you supposed to essentially witness stuff? No one remembers anything. No one recalls anything. And I'm going to tell you why. But they're going to stay with their story and lie. But what I'm seeing here is that they all know the feds are watching, or they all know that they've been talked to by the feds. And I think now some of these witnesses are trying to distance themselves. And that's why I said I looked at today, Nagel, Maxon, and Ricky D. I felt they were the most honest. And I'm telling you, once Nagel dropped that FBI, they understand the ramifications of all of this if they're going to lie, and they don't want to be caught in all this. And I think that's why, in my opinion, they told the truth today. They told the truth. They don't want to be wrapped up in this. I felt like they were the most honest. All right, let's keep playing through this.
The math, but I guess so.
A lot of hours.
Yep.
Other than the people who lived at the home and slept there, you were one of the ones to spend the most time there that night, correct?
I'm not sure.
You got there early. got there early, correct?
Yes.
And you left late, correct?
Yeah.
And you were inside
You're a
almost the entire time, correct?
Yes.
So you came in contact with just about everybody who came into that house.
Can't wait to
correct?
get that AC cranking
Yes.
in here.
And you know that everyone who was in the house that night is a witness in this case, correct?
That's super.
Yes.
Love that name.
The only time you went outside before you left was when your brother Ryan arrived.
Welcome in.
correct?
Welcome in. Welcome in.
Yes.
And even when you went outside, you stayed on the Albert property, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And you had some contact with your brother out there, correct?
Yes.
And you know that he's a witness in this case as well, correct?
I do. Yes.
And despite having contact with all of these witnesses in this case, Trooper Proctor
Thank
didn't
you,
talk
Janet.
to you on January
Appreciate that.
29th,
Thank you.
did he?
No.
Or the rest of January or the whole month of February, correct?
Correct.
He didn't interview you.
I wanted to go back and do the Brian Albert testimony, but we're kind of like so forward in this. It's kind of like if you keep, you're so forward, there's just more compelling stuff that comes out every day. But, Brian Albert sunk himself. I can't believe, and this is what I go back and say this as well. You got to tell me from the photo that we've seen, from the house that was across the street, that night you see the ambulance. I believe there's some police vehicles there already. There's a fire truck, or I'm sorry, there's an ambulance. But you have to tell me that you would not wake up to flashing lights, some possible sirens, a woman screaming outside, clearly a commotion going on. And how about this? You own a dog. You own a canine. You own a possibly a police trained dog, or at least some type of training. Well, to bite people. But my point is, I'm getting at this. You have to tell me that all that, when you're saying that you've slept through anything, your dog wouldn't wake up to alert. That's why people buy dogs for companionship and to alert you if there's something going on outside your house. That's why people get dogs, to protect. So you're telling me that Chloe never got up to alert you? Chloe never ran to the window? Chloe never barked? Chloe never jumped up and said anything? You're saying that you slept through all of this? And I tell this story all the time. My girlfriend has a lab and a border collie. And literally, I could be outside down on the ground floor, and she lives up on the second floor, and fart, and those dogs would run to the window. Because that's what dogs do. They protect, they listen, and they alert you when there's things outside your house or commotion or something going on. So I just find it hard to believe. But let's go back to Julie. She's going to talk about the black blob, that she didn't think that it was pertinent to tell anybody what was going on.
About these statements that you're making today until October of 2022, correct?
If that's what it says on paper, yeah.
October 5, 2022, does that sound right?
I don't know.
It was many months.
Just want to do this real quick. Mystery Christie with a $10 super chat. So let's add that to the total. Justice for John O'Keefe and free Karen Reed. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the super duper chat. All right, let's keep playing on here.
Months after January 29th, correct?
Yes.
Over 8 months after John O'Keefe was found dead on Brian Albert's lawn, correct?
If that was the time
the
frame,
object.
yes.
The blob.
And when he spoke to you on October 5, Trooper Proctor asked you for the first time to remember the details.
We've been seeing a lot of hard ages here lately. What was it? Say she don't look in her 20s. I gotta say that. She don't look in her 20s. That's a hard, grizzled person right
From
there.
8 months before that, correct?
If that was the time frame, yes.
And you are good friends with Sarah Levinson, correct?
Yes.
Certainly over the last 2+ years, the two of you have discussed what happened on January 28th and 29th, correct?
Yeah.
She looks
And
40.
you know that Michael Proctor only interviewed you after the defense in this case filed a motion to get Sarah Levinson's name from the DA's office.
Objection, Your
correct?
Honor.
The objection sustained. Next question.
So
Now, I
you've
wanna
known
keep-
Brian Jr.
Listen, I want to keep things in perspective too. So you're going to hear objections and sustains. The thing they have to keep in mind, those questions are still being asked of the witness. So it does get on the record. Obviously, when it's object and sustained, they can't continue within that line of questioning, but the jury is still hearing that. So keep that in mind. So they get the thought, but they just won't be able to elaborate on it. So that is still being put on the record.
Since your sophomore or junior year, correct?
Yes.
And you actually graduated Canton High School in 2016, correct?
Correct.
But you've known him since 2014 or 15,
Yes.
9 or 10 years?
Yep.
He's a good friend.
Yes.
He's a close friend of yours, correct?
Yes.
And
Sarah.
on January 28th of 2022, you were one of a select group of his friends who went to his house to celebrate his birthday the following night, right?
Yes.
And you don't go to somebody's house whom you graduated high school with 10 years previously to celebrate their birthday if they're just an acquaintance, correct?
Objection.
I don't know.
I'll let the answers stand.
When you got there, other than Sarah Levinson and yourself, everyone at the house was a member of the Albert family, correct?
Can you rephrase the question, please?
Sure. You and Sarah Levinson are not actually Alberts, correct?
Correct. Yes.
But everybody else at the house was when you got there.
I'm grizzled. I'm gonna go out.
No.
I'm gonna go outside and have a smoke. I'm gonna go out and have a stogie.
You named Brian Albert Jr., correct?
Mhm. Yes.
Julie Albert,
I did not know.
Nicole Albert,
I did. Yes.
Caitlin Albert,
Yes.
Brian Albert Sr. might have been there.
Yes.
And you knew the Alberts well enough to know the names that we just discussed, correct?
Yes.
And in addition to that,
See, now, this is the turn, and I noticed this the other day. This is the turn where she starts getting really frustrated. You see that body language? I want to go back. I noticed this the other day, and this is where her cheeks start turning really red. Watch that move. So watch this move right here.
I did. Yes.
Caitlin Albert,
Yes.
Brian Albert Sr. might have been there.
Yes.
And you knew the Alberts well enough to know the names that we just discussed, correct?
Yes.
And in addition to
Right
that,
there.
the McCabe,
You see that adjust that she does? And now she's pissed. She's having it now. She knows she's in deep. Red cheeks, full red cheeks. Full red cheeks now. She's pissed. Kyle V checking in, 499er, says, sustain D's nuts, and I'm behind you. You just said what I was going to say. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Fitting game on point, by the way. Thank you, brother. Thank you for checking in. Thanks for the super chat. Let's add the 499er. We'll round it to 5. Add that towards the total. Hopefully we can get $50 tonight to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. We got Patty checking in with a $20 super chatter. Thank you so much. She said, please showcase her super attractive brother so we can call all praise for him for being honest despite major pressure from the Mick Alberts. We are going to play Ryan Nagel's testimony. I'm not going to comment. It doesn't do anything for me, but maybe for the ladies, enjoy. But 68 total, great. 25% will go towards Karen Reed's Defense Fund. Scott checking in says she could be on point in the 1970s roller derby team. Opponents are going over the railing. Oh, Scott, that's great. I love it. 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 All right, let's keep playing on. But keep in mind, did you see it? Did you see the body language? It turned, that twist. And you're going to see it now. The attitude's going to start coming out. Here we go.
were related to the Alberts, correct?
Yes.
Right there.
And you knew Jennifer and Matt McCabe before that night, right?
I'm sorry, can you?
Yes. Before January 28th of 2022, you knew Jennifer and Matt McCabe.
Yes.
You had been to their home before,
Who's home?
the McCabe's home.
I don't recall.
You'd driven
That's where
their
she's gonna get
daughters around,
busted.
correct?
I have, yes.
And you had actually pet.
This is where she gets busted. Well, I don't know if I have, but you know about their, I think it's what, they have a Labradoodle? You know about their Labradoodle? Well, you've pet set for them. So you've been to their house. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have been there.
Sat for the McCabe's golden doodle, correct?
Doodle.
Correct, yes.
Their home.
Oh,
Yes.
And so the answer to my previous
You've been
question
there.
is certainly you've been to their home, correct?
Yes.
And their golden doodle was named Bailey, correct?
Yes.
In fact, you knew Jennifer McCabe well enough that you called her by a nickname, correct?
Yes.
What was the nickname that you referred to Jennifer McCabe by?
JJ.
shitbag.
And you knew that JJ was Nicole Albert's sister, correct?
Yes.
Now, on the night of January 28th into the 29th, you saw Brian Albert Sr. After he came back to 34 Fairview, correct?
Yes.
You were on the first floor of that residence the whole night, were you not?
Yes.
And you have a specific memory of Brian Albert Sr. walking Chloe through the first floor of that house, correct?
Yes.
When Brian Albert Sr.
Just the
was walking Chloe through the first floor of that house,
piss.
he maintained control of Chloe's collar, did he not?
He did, yes.
You like dogs, right?
I do.
But you didn't pet Chloe, correct?
I
Yeah.
have, yes.
Yeah, it's funny. Omar, great point. I said, I'm going to tell you one thing. All these people, all the McAlberts, they love to drink. They are drinkers. That's probably why they're all hard and grizzled. That and ripping butts. But look at the cross. She had the cross on too. They're all wearing crosses. We need a cross count. It's been three crosses so far. You had Katie, you had Caitlin, and you have Julie, right? 3 cross. Is that the 3 cross count? How many crosses we had so far? You all probably know in the chat because you've been able to watch all the testimony. The holy women, these holy women. Yes. What's the cross count? We got to get a cross count. Is it 3? Am I right? Has it been 3? It's 3, right? Yeah.
No.
You've never pet sat for Chloe, correct?
No.
But you did hang out regularly at the Albert home for years because of your friendship with Brian Jr., correct?
Yes.
Which meant that you have had contact with Chloe over the years, correct?
Yes.
And you would agree with me that Chloe's a very different dog than Bailey, the McCabe's golden doodle, correct?
Objection.
Sustain.
Bailey is a friendly dog, is he not?
Objection.
Sustain.
Chloe is not friendly, correct?
Objection.
I'll let you have that. Can you answer that?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, Chloe is not a friendly dog.
I mean, I would say so, yeah.
It was clear to you that she is not good with people, correct?
I'm not aware.
On January 28th and 29th, while you were in the kitchen dining room area, you'll agree with me that there was music playing for most of the night, correct?
For a decent amount, yes.
B.
And that area of the house
Tasty.
has the surround sound speakers?
Yes.
Everybody was in a good mood?
Correct, yes.
Talking,
Yes.
drinking?
Yep.
Singing,
I don't remember.
dancing?
Yeah.
And all the action was in the kitchen dining room area, correct?
Yes.
And that was where your attention was mainly focused, was it not?
It was, yes.
Because that's where everybody was.
Yes.
You were not monitoring the basement door, were you?
No.
And you never went down to the basement, correct?
No, I did not.
Prior to January 28th of 2022, you knew who Colin Albert was, correct?
Yes.
You knew that he was your friend Brian Jr.'s first cousin, right?
Correct.
When you were at 34 Fairview, you did see Colin there, correct?
I did, yes.
I believe that he got there shortly after Nicole Albert, Caitlin Albert, and Julie Albert left the residence, correct?
All right. What I want to do is get to the object, the blob moment. I think it's around 3:55. So let's just speed up a little bit here and see if I'm right on that. I think it's right about
And the
here.
driver, correct?
Yes.
And the driver was Matthew McCabe, correct?
Correct.
Jennifer McCabe was in the front passenger seat,
Yes.
and Sarah Levinson was sitting next to you behind the front passenger, correct?
Yes.
Matthew McCabe backed the car out of the driveway and then headed up
All right,
toward
I think
Chapman
this is it.
Street, correct?
Yes.
That meant that the passenger side of the vehicle was closest to the Albert home, correct?
Yes.
So that meant that Sarah Levinson and Jennifer McCabe were in the seats that were closest to the Albert home, correct?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Sure. As Matthew McCabe was driving
Blob.
that vehicle alongside the Albert property line, Jennifer.
And it's like the text message today. The text message today, and forgive me again, I was just listening in at work where Allie McCabe had the text message, the screenshot, and said, I think it was who crossed her today. Was it Yannetti? Yannetti said, "Well, why didn't you share that with law enforcement?" Oh, well, I didn't think it was that necessary. You didn't think it was that necessary. You're someone has been murdered. A Boston police officer has been murdered, and you don't think that it's pertinent to share information? Oh, well, because they didn't ask. They didn't ask, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
McCabe in the front passenger seat and Sarah Levinson in the rear passenger seat were the closest two people to the Albert home, correct?
Yes.
And as the car passed in front of the Albert home, you saw no tire tracks in the snow, correct?
I don't remember.
You claim now to have seen a black object in the
Here we
snow,
go.
correct?
Yes.
Object is the term that you used when you were finally interviewed about this matter.
I mean, this to me, the shaking that to me, it's almost like someone pulled her aside and said, "You are going to say this." I mean, that's what I'm getting here. The body language is saying someone has spoken to her, and you are going to say this, and she is pissed that she's going to have to say this right now.
Correct?
A black object, yes.
Right. You never before ever told any investigator that what you actually saw was a black blob, correct?
I don't remember.
And
I don't remember.
you also never, ever told any investigator that this black object that you described was actually 5 feet or 6 feet long, correct?
Correct, yes.
The very first time you're now mentioning this testimony that this black object, as you describe it, was actually 5 or 6 feet long was just today, after 12 noon on May 14th of 2024, correct?
Lally asked me how big it was, so I just told him right now, yeah.
Yeah, Lally, when you say
Calls him
Lally, you
Lally.
mean Mr. Lally.
Yes, Mr. Lally, correct, yes.
Mr. Lally just asked you during this trial, again,
Yeah,
right before this jury, that's the first time you've ever been asked or ever given an answer as to how big that object was, correct?
Why she keep
not
looking at
necessarily,
Lally?
no.
She keeps looking at Lally. Save me!
Did
Object!
you review any report
Save
that
me!
was taken when the investigators spoke to you regarding this case before taking the stand today?
No,
You've never testified in a grand jury regarding this case, correct?
correct.
You've never testified in any hearing regarding this case, correct?
In this hearing, in this case,
Besides today.
no.
Yeah.
And you would agree with me that it is nowhere on record that this black object that you talk about was ever 5 or 6 feet long prior to telling the jury that today.
Objection.
You have to ask that differently, Mr. Moody.
Today, this afternoon, is the first time that you've provided testimony
Why?
or information
Why?
to any official regarding this case that the object was 5 or 6 feet long?
Right.
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
Who did you tell
Right.
prior to today?
I don't remember.
About what?
Come on.
Okay, I thought we were talking
Right.
about the fact that you now
Excuse me.
testified that this black object was 5 or 6 feet long. You recall that?
Today, yes.
And my question to you was, you've never mentioned that this black object was 5 or 6 feet long until the last hour or so when Mr. Lally
Look at the frown
questioned you
lines
about
on her
it,
forehead.
correct?
Yes.
Now, when you were passing the property, you did not think it was a body.
At the time, no.
You claim that you told everyone in the car that you saw something, correct?
Correct.
And your friend Sarah said what? Or something to that effect, correct?
Correct.
Because she's lying. That's
And
why.
there was no further conversation after that, correct?
Not that I can remember. No.
And you didn't think that it was a person who was in trouble, correct?
Objection.
Did you think that? At what time, Mr.?
When you're leaving the property, after leaving the house at 1:45 a.m. and getting into the vehicle and passing the Albert lawn, you did not think that you saw a person who was in trouble, correct?
No.
Or a person that may have needed help, correct?
I don't know. No.
And you were right there, correct? Passing the property?
I was passing the property,
Not
yes.
as close to the property as your friend Sarah Levinson, but you were in the back seat on the driver's side, correct?
Correct.
Oh, and by the way, Sarah Levinson, she was the one that her name was held back by the Commonwealth for almost 10 months. For almost 10 months, her name was held back. by the
And you were in a
Commonwealth.
car such that you
Excuse
thought that you
Lisa,
saw
welcome
something
in.
that could have been
Thank
a
you.
person. All you had to
Leave it a
do
light
was
down there. I
tell the
appreciate it.
driver, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you tell the driver that you saw somebody who was in trouble?
Well, I said it out loud in the car.
So
Or-
is it your testimony now that you said out loud in the car, there's a person who's in trouble?
Right.
That's not what I said, no.
You didn't mention a person at all in the car, correct?
No.
Did not tell Matthew
Could be
McCabe,
that.
hey, stop the car, correct?
I did not know.
If you had seen a person in the snow lying there, you would have done something
Right.
about
Why
it,
would you
correct?
not do it?
Objection.
Why is she looking at Lally?
Sustained.
You didn't ask Matthew McCabe to stop.
No.
You didn't ask him to back up.
Nope.
You didn't ask him to check on whatever it was.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll allow that.
No.
You had your phone with you, correct?
Yeah.
Your phone was working, correct?
Don't
I
remember.
like this
You
one,
used
too.
that phone to text your brother.
Yeah.
An hour and a half before.
Are you
Now you're going to
testifying
tell me that your phone's not working after an hour and a half? Yanetti's got her on the ropes.
today that your phone was completely out of charge?
I don't remember, no.
Give me a break.
Text your good friend Brian Albert Jr. to tell him that you saw somebody lying on his front lawn?
Did I text him
Yes.
that night?
As you are supposedly seeing this black object,
Objection.
the immediate aftermath of that, did you text Brian Albert Jr. to tell him about that black object?
So in that form, it's sustained. Ask it differently, Mr. Newman.
You had your friend Sarah Levinson with you, correct?
I did in the car, yes.
You knew she was a nurse, correct?
Yeah.
You didn't tell your friend Sarah that you just saw somebody lying
Why is
in
her
the
leg
snow
bound?
during a blizzard who might need some help, correct?
I did not know.
That Brian Jr.'s father was a police officer, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
So let's
Rizzle.
move this. Are you just about done with this line of questioning? I'll give you a little bit more.
Just a couple more questions and I'm
Okay,
done.
go ahead.
You knew that he was a police officer, correct?
Yes.
And obviously a first responder as a police officer, right?
Yeah.
And you knew that that was Jennifer McCabe's brother-in-law, correct?
Yes.
And Jennifer McCabe was in the car with you, correct?
Yes.
You didn't tell Jennifer McCabe or JJ to call her brother-in-law, correct?
No.
The fact of the matter is, you did nothing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's because you did not see a body on that lawn, correct?
Objection.
Is that true? Can you answer that?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
You didn't see a body on that lawn.
I mean, I don't know what I saw, but I saw an object.
You were drinking for hours.
Is that a question?
Yes, you were drinking for hours. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you were intoxicated as you were leaving that home.
Objection.
Were you?
Yes.
You were drunk, right?
Some would say, yeah.
You would say.
Yeah.
And you believe that except for Matt McCabe, who was driving, everybody in the car was drunk, right?
Objection.
And I don't know.
I'm going to let that answer stand.
You have previously testified. I'm sorry, strike that. You have previously given a statement indicating that you believe that everybody in that car except for Matthew McCabe was drunk. Do you deny that?
I don't remember at this moment.
Dragon breath.
All right. You told investigators that when Brian Albert Jr. called you the next morning and you found out about the tragedy the previous night, you, quote, put two and two together, correct?
I did, yes.
And when you put two and two together, you did not call the county police, correct?
I did not know.
Not call the state
Why would you
police,
not call?
correct?
Nope.
Not call the district attorney's office.
No.
You would agree with me that you just sat on this revelation, correct?
I would.
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, that's sustained in that form.
And you were not interviewed by any investigator in January, February, March,
I
or
should
any
keep
time
looking at
over the
Lally.
spring or summer of 2022, correct?
I don't remember the time frame, but not right after. No.
And when an investigator finally spoke to you, it was Michael Proctor, correct?
Correct.
He was the one who took your statement on October 12th of 2022, correct?
If that was the date and time, yes.
And that was over 8 months after you were driving past the Albert home at around 2 a.m. while you were drunk and supposedly seeing some black object, correct?
Before 2 a.m., yes.
And you know, Ms. Nagel, that as of October of 2022, the defense had, in this case, had publicly announced that
Objection, Your
no one
Honor.
had saw
All
a
right.
body on that property.
So that question's improper. I'm going to strike that question.
Oh, drink, save me
All right.
water.
So we're going to break
Save me.
Okay, so judges, please.
All right, that's Julie Nagel. Save me water. It's the water. It's gonna save me. The holy water. It's been blessed by her cross. Holy Nikes. What a liar. You lying. All right, let's get to Ryan Nagel. Ryan Nagel. Let's play a little bit of Ryan Nagel. And remember, Ryan today in his testimony says the F word. The F word that we're not supposed to talk about, but kind of snuck it in there. Snuck it in there today. All right, let's hear a little bit of Ryan Nagel. Oh my God, Lally, I gotta speed this up.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. You can take it.
By the way, what's pig's DNA doing inside a sample? What's pig's DNA doing inside a sample? The feds, the F word, yes.
I have this moment.
Yes.
No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, cross-examination?
Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Nagel. Good morning. A couple of questions for you. Since January 29th, have you been contacted by anybody from either the Albert family or the McCabe family about the circumstances of January 29th, 2022?
No, I have not, sir.
Have you been contacted by any other person other than the Albert family or the McCabe family since January 29th, 2022 about your testimony or your statements?
About my statements, no, but I mean, me and Ricky are best friends, and obviously it's things that we brought up in the past. Yes.
I didn't mean to speak over you. So you and Ricky And how do I pronounce his last name?
D'Antano?
D'Antano. You and Mr. D'Antano have obviously discussed the circumstances of that night
Yes, sir.
and what happened.
Yes.
Did that change your testimony in any way?
No, sir. No, it did not.
You were interviewed by,
Lady Law checking in. So smash that like button, thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell. Support Karen Reed. Another life is at risk. Hashtag free KR. Let's add the 5 to the total, please. Let's add the 5 to the total. I would appreciate it. All right, let's keep playing on here.
a Massachusetts State Trooper on or about February 7th, 2022, correct?
Sounds about right. Yes.
Do you remember which state trooper that was?
Not off the top of my head. No.
His name Michael Proctor, sound right?
No, sir. I don't think so.
You don't believe it was Michael Proctor?
I'm not 100% sure. No, I'm not sure.
Do you remember the state trooper that did interview you had a partner named Yuri Buchanan?
Yes. That sounds familiar. Yes.
During that interview, you told and I'm just going to call him the trooper since you don't remember his name, the trooper and Yuri Buchanan, that there were 2 other people in the car when you approached 34th Area.
Say that again.
You told those 2 troopers that there were 2 other people in the car.
Yes.
Ricky D'Antano.
Yes. Yes. In my vehicle. Yes, sir.
So they were well aware of the identity of Ricky D'Antano and Heather Maxon. D'Antano and Heather Maxon at the time.
Correct.
As early as February 7th, 2022.
Yes.
I want to talk for a second about your approach to Fairview Road. You were coming along Cedar Crest, correct?
Correct.
You would have been going west-ish. I know it's a curved road, sort of west. If Fairview goes north and south,
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
you would have been going west and then turning south onto Fairview, correct?
Correct. Yes.
You indicated that the SUV, the dark SUV, beat your car to the intersection. Is that right?
Correct, sir.
And because the car was ahead of you, Ricky flashed his lights as a courtesy to say, you got the turn.
Correct, sir.
Because both of you were approaching the intersection, but the SUV was closer.
Correct, sir.
You pulled up to Fairview and stopped relatively close to the driveway, as you've indicated to the jury, correct?
Correct, sir.
And your car was as much as 3 car lengths behind that SUV. Do you recall that?
When we arrived,
Yes.
I would say
Lisa with a 20. Lisa Norton with a 20. Thank you so much. Says happy to fund the channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Lisa. We're going to add that to the running total. And 25% of all donations will be kicked back to Karen Reed tonight. And I will post everything on my Facebook page and my YouTube community page for transparency. And like I said, you can also just go right to the Defense Fund link, click on that, go to recent donations, and you see LTL Media Chat Raiser, and I put the date, and then we did give the total donation at the end of the stream. Dina Jam checking in, saying, way to go, Ryan Nagel, hashtag free Karen Reed. I believe that these 3 witnesses today, Nagel, Maxon, and Ricky D, crushed the prosecution, crushed the Commonwealth's theory. What do you all think? Do you think that? Let me know in the chat. All right, we'll keep playing through this. I may not go through all of these tonight, but we'll play some sections. I want to get up to when he talks about the F word, the federal investigation. All right, we're at 98 total. 25% of that will be kicked back to Karen Reed. Let's get to $50 for Karen Reed tonight. I would really want to get to that. All right, here we go.
a car length and a half at the time.
Okay. Do you recall being interviewed on or about May 11th, 2023 by individuals not associated with the Commonwealth?
A gentleman came to my door, but I did not speak to him.
Would it refresh your recollection? Do you remember talking in May of 2023 with anybody about this case?
I don't know. 2023 may have been the feds.
Oh!
I'm trying to.
Just listen to my question.
No.
Oh! You know, I like Jackson just slips it by, doesn't go into it, kind of just lets the jury hear it, puts it in there. And I'm going to tell you this, and I said this in my video today that I dropped at 2:00. I think what's going to happen, the federal investigation will probably come up when Trooper Proctor and Bukaki get on the stand, because I feel they got a lot on both of them. The masterminder of all of this, Trooper Proctor. I think you're going to hear more about the federal investigation when Proctor is on the stand. And as we know, the defense was, told by Judge Bev that they couldn't bring up the federal investigation in the opening statement, but if it was brought up in trial, they could. I'm going to almost mark my words. I guarantee you, when Trooper Proctor's up there, the federal investigation will be talked about, or possibly when Brian Higgins is on the stand. All right, let's keep playing.
No, I understand.
Were you talked to by anybody? Don't say who. Just tell me if you were talking, yes or no.
Yes, I believe so.
That's
Okay.
right.
Do you think it would
That
refresh
would
your
be
recollection
opening the
when
door.
that interview took place if you saw a report?
Yes, sure.
Okay, may I approach you?
Yes.
I can tell you this. I've had interactions in the last week, but specifically the last couple of days. I was out to dinner last night. The night before, I'm sorry, out to dinner. And we were walking out of the restaurant, and these two older ladies grabbed me. They probably had to be late 60s, early 70s. I was wearing my Karen Reed Was Framed shirt. And they grabbed me and said, "Oh, we've been hearing a lot about this case." And I said exactly right to them. I looked at both of them in the eyes. I said, "What do you think? Do you think that Karen did it?" And she said, "There's no fucking way." And then we started laughing and had a great conversation. I was inside the UPS store today dropping off something before I went to work. And the girl behind the desk knows that I have a YouTube channel, and I talk about Karen Reed's trial and been advocating for her for better part of a year. And she said, "Oh, how's it going?" I told her a little bit about the trial. A lady behind me goes, "Oh, Karen Reed? There's no fucking way that she did it." So we start laughing and turn around and start talking about. I'm telling you, the consensus out there, the people that I am running into, everyday people like me and you and everybody watching the show tonight are telling me Karen Reed did not do this. Karen Reed will be acquitted. I even watched the chats. We're watching Law and Crime Network. I'm watching the chats. Some of the time in there, they have 17, 20,000 people watching. And the overall average inside that chat is that Karen Reed is innocent. She didn't do this. She will be acquitted. I'm telling you. All right, let's keep a little bit more.
There's a date right up top and then a highlighted portion at the bottom. If you wouldn't mind taking a glance at that and look up to me when you're finished reviewing that.
Okay.
May I approach?
Yes. Can you show Mr. Rowley what you showed the witness?
Does this refresh your recollection, sir, that you indicated in that interview?
Just two parts. Does it refresh your recollection?
Understood. Does that refresh your recollection about what you may have said?
Yes.
So there was an interview in May of 2023,
Yes.
and you did indicate some distance that you were behind the SUV in that interview.
Yes. Well, at the beginning, it was only a car length and a half. And then probably at the end, by the time we left, it was about 3 car lengths.
Okay, fair enough. So at the end, it was as much as 20 to 50 feet ahead of you.
Give or take, yes.
Okay, so 50 feet, obviously further than the length of this courtroom.
Correct.
All right. So at a time,
But Gigi, this is what I have to ask you. And you said, "I believe she's innocent, but as well, but a jury is so unpredictable." That is true. But I'm going to tell you, my inside sources have told me, I have an inside source that has been in the courtroom since day one, has told me that the jury is very responsive to when the defense talks or speaks about this case or asks questions. They said on the very first day, the first couple of days when we had all the EMS workers and emergency respond workers, police officers, your ambulance drivers, when they were up there taking the stand and saying that they could not recall pertinent information in this case, that the jury was almost shaking their heads in disgust. I'm going to tell you, I think this case had swayed the jury tons just on the first couple of days of testimony. I think, and we were talking about this, Casey and I were talking about this. There's 17 on the jury, 12 will get picked. She thinks that 12 jurors right now are probably on the side of Karen Reed. I again, this is what I ask the people, the deniers, the people that go up against this and say that Karen Reed is guilty. Give me one thing already that the Commonwealth has shown in 12 days through all of their witnesses, one thing that says, that points that Karen Reed murdered Officer John O'Keefe. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it. I'm still waiting for this blockbuster moment where Lally's going to pull out his ace card and say, boom, here it is. But I'm going to tell you, the one thing that would convince me right now, and the only thing that would convince me right now in this case, is if they had an actual video of Karen Reed backing up, hitting John O'Keefe, and leaving that scene. You know why we won't see it? Because there is none. It didn't happen. It never happened. All right, let's keep playing.
And when you were in the truck, still stationary, that SUV had pulled ahead of you at least 3 car lengths, correct?
And by the end, yes.
Okay. You've already indicated, but I want to make sure I'm clear about this. Did any car pull in between Ricky's truck and the SUV when you were sitting behind the SUV?
No, sir.
You didn't see a Jeep
No, sir.
with a big old snowplow on the front of it?
No, sir, I did not.
That car was never between your car and the SUV, was it?
I never saw any other vehicle in between us.
All right, fair enough. When you got to the location, you indicated that you had texted your sister that you were arriving. Is that
Correct,
right?
sir, yes.
How long before she came out the door to meet you at the car?
Since I like the text you mean?
Correct.
2 minutes, because we were coming down Cedar Crest and I texted saying we're almost there.
And then once you got
Great
out to the
point,
crest,
bro.
it was a few seconds to drive up to the driveway of Fairview, correct?
Yes.
Did she text you back?
I don't remember.
You had your phone out.
Yes,
It was in, I'm guessing it was in your lap or in your hand.
I would assume yes.
So for a period of time, while you were inside the cab of the truck, as you were pulling up, you were monitoring your phone to determine whether or not she was going to text you back, step out of the house, whatever.
Yes,
Finally, your sister did come out the front door. Is that right?
correct, sir.
And when she came out the front door, you were looking toward the right.
No, when you say front door, like there's 2 doors to the house.
That's a good point. There's let's call it a front door, which is the classic front door, and then a side door.
Correct, sir, yes.
Which door did she come out?
The side door next to the garage.
Okay, so that would have been close to 90 degrees from where you were seated. You would have been looking to your right,
Yeah,
not necessarily looking straight ahead.
correct.
All right, so for that period of time, as you're looking to your right, you see her come out the side door,
Yes, sir,
and you watch her approach down the driveway.
correct.
So at this point, you don't know what's happening with the truck in front of you in those moments.
No, I wasn't really paying attention to that at the time.
You indicated that you said on direct examination that you believe that once she was out and at the truck, that she was there for 30 or 40 seconds.
Correct, sir.
Do you remember actually testifying at a previous hearing in May of 2022 that it was more than 5 minutes that she was out by the truck?
It was not 5 minutes. I'm saying the whole time that I was there, probably between 2 to 3.
Do you remember being asked how long, if you know, were you talking with Julie out in front of the house, and you indicating under oath a little over 5 minutes, I would say?
Scott.
I mean, if you got it, sure.
There.
I mean,
Yes.
whatever you guys have.
I'm sorry.
Can you tell
Oh,
Mr.
yeah,
Lally
there
what
again.
page it is or
May
something?
I have that back?
Yes, sir. Yep.
I think that, Ryan Nagel, that slip of the feds, he puts that out there, puts it on the record. He don't want nothing to do with the feds. He's going to tell, in my opinion, I feel like he was pretty truthful today. And I think he just wants to distance himself from this, come in, do his part. I feel like this witness sunk the Commonwealth today. The 3 bombs today, Nagel, Maxon, and Ricky D. 3 bombs. And I got that in my thumbnail, the 3 bombs.
Thank you.
Just take a look at that highlighted portion and look up when you finish. May I approach?
Yes.
Mr. Nagel, does that refresh your recollection?
It seemed that yes.
Okay. And is it, in fact, was it your testimony that back in May of 2022, much closer to the event in question, that you indicated under oath that y'all were actually talking for closer to 5 minutes?
No, listen, Casey, I get what you're saying, but I'm going to tell you right now, defense is already going to put that out there. And I think once they get to Proctor, you're going to hear more about that. And they're going to say, that the feds came and talked to you. That the feds had questions about this type, your evidence collection. That the feds had questions about how you collected data and this information. The feds came to you and said, why did you not go and knock on doors and et cetera, and all that. But I'm telling you, that's where you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it when Proctor is up there. They're going to introduce it, believe me, and they're going to let you know that Proctor's under investigation.
The whole thing, probably, yeah.
Guarantee you. They will make sure that the
You
jury knows.
indicated that you opened up
Aaron is not
the
under
truck door, is that right?
I opened up my passenger door, correct?
So that does that, F-150, does that automatically open up the suicide door as well?
No, it does not. There's a handle
Okay.
on the inside of the door to open.
So it was just the passenger door that was open.
Correct, sir.
And your sister Julie would have been standing in the crook of that door, correct?
Yes.
So the door would sort of obstruct something to her right or toward the front of the truck.
Correct. That would be the door.
Right. How tall is the truck? Is it lifted?
It was, yes.
So that door is probably up above eye level.
It wasn't that high, no.
You indicated that while she was out there, you turned the music down so you could have a conversation with her.
Correct.
You talked about whether or not she wanted to come in the truck and leave, correct?
Say it again.
You talked about whether or not she wanted to get in the truck and leave.
I asked if she was coming, yes.
You also talked about whether or not you would come in the house and stay.
She asked that, yes.
Okay, so there was a conversation back and forth about either you staying at 34 Fairview or her leaving 34 Fairview and getting in the car.
Correct, sir.
There was also a conversation about whether or not you guys needed to give her a ride then, or if she could get a ride on her own after you guys left if she wanted to stay.
Correct, sir, yes.
And part of that conversation included even talking about whether or not maybe her mom, your mom, would come get her after you guys left.
I would assume, maybe. 2 years ago.
Right, understood. But it's safe to say that there was a dialogue back and forth during which time you're engaged with your sister to your right. She's engaged with you, looking straight ahead in the crook of the door when it's freezing cold out.
Correct.
All right. During this time, your attention is focused on your sister, obviously.
Yes.
At some point, she did decide to stay.
Yep.
At that
That's
point,
interesting.
she then left the crook of the door. You would I'm guessing you shut the door.
Yes, sir.
And then Ricky figured out, okay, we're gonna get out of here. And she's
Ricky
not
D.
coming with us.
Correct.
Did y'all wait long enough to see her go inside the house?
Just gradually pulling away and watched her walk in the house.
Okay. And that answers my next question. When you pulled away, you didn't speed away, correct?
Correct, sir.
Gradually, slowly pulled away and out and around the SUV that was in front of you.
Correct, sir, yes.
So y'all made up the distance at that point. After you had this maybe 5-minute conversation with your sister, you made up the distance and got up to the SUV that was in front.
Yes.
All her taillights, all the taillights were intact.
To my acknowledgement, yes.
I mean, as you sit here,
I mean, may I?
of course.
I mean, I'm not there to, look at a car and be like, oh, is there any damage on a vehicle? It's 12:30 at night.
Danielle popping in says, I think the jury probably thinks it isn't Karen the feds are interested in. All the fuckery from the Commonwealth and the police have been shown to the jury. Jurors probably were wondering how this happened. Yeah, I mean, that kind of tells you right there. I mean, we saw on day one how evidence was collected in this investigation. Poorly contaminated inside solo cups, drops of blood not contained in any real sealed sterile containers. And then we find out about all these 45 pieces of taillight where the taillight whisperer finds the strange call from Lank where he's on his phone. Jen McCabe slips back inside the house. All of a sudden, Carrie and Karen leave, and the light goes on inside the house, and Lank goes off his phone. Come on. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Teresa, thank you so much for the $15 Cash App. Let's add that to the total. I appreciate that. And we'll move on here, and then we're going to go to, who do I got next? Heather Maxim. We'll go to that next. We're almost wrapped up here with Nagel. And I just had another super chat come through. I don't want to miss that. Anki says, if they convicted her and that she saw if they convinced her that she saw a dying John and did nothing, that she may have been able to save him, all that guilt, cruel. All right. Let's go.
Obviously, I had a few drinks. I'm out looking for that. I just noticed that the brake lights were on. So.
Right. But the point is, as you sat there and you testified about this before, you noticed no damage on any of the taillights.
Not to my acknowledgement, no.
Okay. There's 3 taillights, one to the left, one to the right, and one center top.
Correct, sir.
And you didn't notice or note anything out of the ordinary with regard to the rear of that truck.
No, like I said.
Boom. Right there. Boom. That is it. You saw 3 taillights, and you didn't see anything wrong with any of those taillights. Nope. Didn't see anything. Boom.
It's dark out.
Okay. At any point, did you see that SUV in front of you drive up 50 or 60 feet, slam into reverse, and then drive backward?
No.
At any point, did you see that SUV reverse and hit a pedestrian?
Objection.
Sir.
I'll allow that. You didn't see that, right?
No.
There you go.
At no point did you see a person laying on the lawn,
No, but I also wasn't looking.
but you didn't see it.
No.
And you did see the truck in front of you.
The SUV, yes.
Sorry, the SUV in front of you.
Correct.
All right. You didn't see a person standing or lying on the ground anywhere around that SUV, did you?
No.
And it's not just that you didn't see that SUV hit a pedestrian. That did not happen while you were sitting there, did it?
Objection.
You can go ahead and answer that.
No, I did not.
After you drove away or drove up slowly in order to drive away, you were the passenger, or as you drove away, I should say, you were the passenger closest to the SUV as you would be passing it, correct?
Correct, sir, yes.
You looked out the right window of that F-150, correct?
Correct.
And you could actually see inside the SUV as it sat there idling, correct?
Correct.
That's because the dome light was on. Isn't that right?
Correct, sir.
And you noticed that the dome light was on inside because you could clearly see what was happening inside the SUV at that time as you passed by.
And I wasn't directly looking inside. I was making sure my sister got in the house okay.
Right. But you did look inside that SUV
As I passed by, yes.
and you saw one person,
That's all I saw at the time, yes.
female with long hair. Is that
Correct.
right? And you did not see anybody else inside that SUV.
No, not to my acknowledgement.
As a matter of fact, you were asked that in prior testimony and you indicated in response to that basic question, no, she was alone, correct?
Correct, sir.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right, I don't need to hear the cross. Let me just do this. Saw buy me a coffee come through. Thank you so much for the donation. Let's pull it up and add it to the total. Let's see. Total tonight so far. Renee, thank you so much for the 10 on buy me a coffee. I appreciate that. So we'll add $10 to the total. Let's get a running total in the chat. We'll add $10. All right, let's go to Maxon. Ryan Nagel's ex-boyfriend. Let's see, 256. She talks about the half car length in between the SUV and SUV and Ricky D's truck. Another Cash App just came through. Let's look at that. Cash App from Danielle. Thank you so much. Sent $7 on Cash App. She says, let me see if you can read these real quick. Thank you so much for the Cash App. I appreciate it. Let's see the messages. Add $7. That's not what I wanted. Can never find how to get to these damn things. All right, here we go. Let's see. Danielle says, thanks for the coverage. Respect, don't need to read, but I did. So thank you so much, Danielle. I appreciate it. Let's see. Teresa put in earlier. She just said, free Karen Reed. Thank you. And thank you. All right, let's keep playing on. We got Heather Maxon.
You were ever interviewed about this case.
I'm
by
sorry,
law enforcement was
yes, on
September
Cross.
1st, 2023. Was that right?
Correct.
So you were not interviewed at or around February 7th when Ryan was
No.
February 7th, 2022.
Right.
All
No.
So it was a full 19 months after the events in question that you were first contacted by law enforcement.
Correct.
And you gave your statement for the first time at that.
Correct.
The truck that you were in, I can't remember, did you say the name of the truck? Was it a Ford F-150?
Correct.
That was turning left onto Fairview from Cedar Crest. You recall that?
Correct. Yes.
Do you know the names of the streets, or are you just?
I don't know the names of the streets. No. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the town of Canton.
So okay, that was my next question. If I showed you a map. for
Thank
instance,
you,
that
Linda. I
would be
appreciate
good.
you.
know
Thank
the
you.
street names.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
No.
Ricky was driving, Ryan was in the front passenger seat, and you were in the super cab portion of the truck, correct?
Correct.
So you would have been situated directly behind Ryan,
I was in the middle.
in the middle seat.
Correct. So I was in between Ryan and Ricky.
Understood. Did you indicate that at some point you could see pretty clearly into the SUV as it turned, as y'all yielded way and it turned, it would be its right in front of you?
Correct.
And you could clearly see inside the passenger compartment, there was a female driving, is that right?
Correct.
And there was a male sitting next to her.
Yes.
You indicated that by the time you guys negotiated your turn, sped up, made the turn, headed up Fairview, that SUV had already come to a stop.
Correct.
All right. And how far behind that SUV would you estimate Ricky pulled the truck in terms of car lengths? 1 car length, 2 car lengths, right on the bumper?
Yeah, less than 1 car length.
Okay,
I would say a couple feet.
couple feet, meaning 2 or 3 feet.
Yes,
So that's your recollection as you sit here.
correct.
Did you notice anything wrong with the back of the SUV?
I did not.
Okay. You saw brake lights on?
Yeah.
How many brake lights? Left and right?
Correct. Yep.
Was there one in the top center?
I don't recall.
Okay. You certainly did not see a full-sized Jeep Wrangler outfitted with a snowplow between the SUV and Ricky's truck.
I did not.
Sounds like a ridiculous question. You didn't see any other cars. There were no other cars between the two.
Correct.
Kristen, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. Let's add that over to the total. $10 on Venmo. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Let's
Is
go.
it fair to say that when you pulled up behind the SUV, other than noting that it was there, your attention was not necessarily focused on that SUV?
Correct.
There's nothing extraordinary or out of the ordinary about that car.
Correct.
You were there to pick up somebody, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Or at least potentially.
Right.
So I'm guessing your focus would probably be to the right where the front doors were of that house.
Sure.
And you knew that Ryan had been communicating with his sister, and so you were sort of expectant in terms of watching Julie Nagel possibly come out of the house.
Correct.
So during those moments, you weren't necessarily paying attention to what was happening directly in front of you.
Well,
outside.
Scott, the thing that I like about her testimony, and you're going to hear it here in a couple of minutes, she is going to say the distance between Karen's SUV and Ricky D's truck. I think she said it was a half a car length, which to me adds value because if you're that close to Karen's SUV, that gave you clear sight of the back of her car, the taillights. And I can't remember, and again, I can't remember, she said, if she saw any damage to Karen's SUV or not. I know that Ryan definitely said that, but I'm not sure if she did. All right, let's keep playing on.
Right.
You indicated that you believe that the chit chat that happened with Julie Nagel up at the truck was about 5 minutes.
Give or take.
At that point, was one of the doors opened?
I don't believe so. I think we rolled our windows down
Okay. Did
to
you
communicate.
also- I'm so sorry.
We rolled our windows down.
Garrett, thank you so much for the 5 on Venmo. Garrett says, great show. Keep it up, man. Karen Reed is innocent. Thank you so much. 25% of your donation will get kicked back to Karen Reed's defense fund tonight. All right, let's keep going.
To communicate with Julie.
Okay, so you don't recall one of the doors being opened and Julie standing in the crook of the door having this conversation with Ryan?
I don't recall.
Okay. Is that possible?
Sure, possible.
Okay. Your memory is not necessarily focused on that.
Right.
But you do know that there was a communication.
Yes, for sure.
They were talking about whether or not you wanted to go inside the house.
All 3 of us.
Okay. You, Ricky, and Ryan.
And yes,
And y'all were talking about whether or not Julie was going to come with y'all. Is that right?
correct.
And there was even a discussion about whether or not Julie's mom might pick her up.
I don't recall.
Okay. So the specifics of the conversation you don't necessarily recall, but you do know that y'all talked about 5 minutes.
Give or take, yes.
During the course of that 5-minute conversation, where was your focus?
On Julie.
Okay. Ultimately, the 3 of you did pull away from the driveway area
Okay.
where you were parked.
This is important. This is what I wanted to talk about. And I'm probably not going to play Ricky D because he's going to basically say all the same things. I want to get to the juicy stuff. So after we get through Maxon, I'm going to skip Ricky D tonight and we'll go to Allie McCabe. I think she got a lot of explaining to do. And there was some really good exchange from back and forth with her today during her cross. Let's just pull this up real quick. $2 from Buzzing for the Truth says, great job, Brian. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support here on LTL Media. LTL Media. And if anybody's wondering, they go, what does LTL stand for? LTL stands for Let's Talk Live, because that's what we do here. We talk live. We talk live. I hate recording videos. I like just to hit the camera and go live. I feel like it's just more authentic than rehearsing for a video, trying to get everything down perfect. Just turn the camera on and go. I like it. So $2 added. All right, let's go.
Could you rephrase?
Sure. Ultimately, y'all did move. The truck did move past the house and move past the SUV.
Once we left, yes.
As you drove by the SUV, you noticed that the dome light was on.
Could you explain the dome, what that
Dome
means?
light, the interior light.
Yes.
Dome.
Yes.
Yeah. So you could see it lit up the interior of the car.
Correct.
It was a late model SUV, probably a pretty bright light. You could see inside the car.
I could.
You clearly could see, well, you could see a female.
Correct.
By the way, do you recognize the person to my left?
I do, but only because of.
That was a terrible question.
I like this too. This was good. Do you recognize the person to my left? Well, she knows her, but she knows her now. She didn't know her that night, and she didn't recognize her that night. She just saw a female.
Of course. Do you recognize her from that night? Is she the person that was in the driver's seat, or do you know?
I don't know.
But the person you did see was a Caucasian female with long hair.
Correct.
It's interesting. I've never seen Karen in this posture before. Arms crossed in really eyeing this witness down, which was a very interesting posture. I've never seen her like this. And I can only imagine the frustration that she's sitting here knowing that she's an innocent woman and has to sit here and go through this. That's the body language I get here. The disgust that all of these people have gotten up and have lied about what happened that night and implicated in some very awful things. Murder, second-degree murder. It's not something that I would wish upon anybody. But I'm very, very confident that this defense team is going to get the job done, that is going to unfold all of the truth. The truth will come out, because you can only lie on top of a lie on top of a lie so long before you screw up your lies and the truth slips out. And we're seeing it. It is happening. It is happening.
As you drove by, the interior light was on well enough that you could see her, but you could see the female clearly.
Correct.
And you could also see that there was no male in the truck as well, correct?
I don't.
Allie McCabe today. Colin wasn't inside the house at the same time John was.
No,
Boom.
The other male that I saw in the SUV before they pulled on to Fairview, he could have been in when it was parked. The only person I saw as we were pulling away was the female driver.
So when you pulled away, you looked to your right at your passenger window.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
The interior dome light was on.
Yes.
And you testified to this before, correct?
Correct.
You've been asked these questions in another proceeding, correct?
Correct.
And you testified the only person you saw in the interior of that car at that time when y'all pulled away was the female.
Okay.
Is that right?
Sure, if I remember correctly.
Okay. That's all I have.
Still Ellie?
All right, I'm going to bounce out of this. Hang on.
So, Ms. Maxon, during the time that you were asked about not sort of focusing on the SUV in front of you, fair to say that
Karen gave a smile there. I don't know who she was smiling to, but it was looking in the direction of Maxon. So I don't know if that smile was at her or what that was, but I just noticed these things. I see these things when I watch these replays. Okay, let's go to dun dun dun. Let's go to Allie McCabe. So we got the crocodile tears. Oh my God. Oh, the harassment. Oh, just before Colin takes a stand. How convenient that question is asked just before Colin takes a stand. And we know that we're going to get that type of reaction, the crocodile tears. And we're going to talk about the 365 life data. She's trying to say that it's wrong. And I tell you right now that almost probably all the time, a digital footprint does not lie. So I don't know why she's trying to say that the data is wrong, but we're going to hear that today. And we'll go back and review that testimony. But yeah, digital footprint doesn't lie. So this is going to be very interesting. But let's speed up here. We'll go to Allie McCabe. I'm just going to get the timestamp on it. Oh, shit. Did I not get the timestamp? Good job. I know it had in my notes. Hang on a second. My handwritten notes, and then I usually translate it over. 5:31. Okay. Let's go up to 5:31. And then we're going to, let's see, that's direct. All right, here we go. Alan Jackson. Ba-ba-ba. Here we go.
Ms. Gianetti?
I'm sorry, Yannetti.
Good afternoon.
That water ain't going to save you.
How long have you had an iPhone? I'm not
She
talking-
is shaking already. She is shaking already. Look at that. Let's go back. right here. Look at the sipping water, and she knows it's coming. Watch this. Watch her body language.
Ms. Giannetti?
Thank you, Ron.
Watch her hands. These are kicking and
Good afternoon.
shaking and.
How long have you had an iPhone? I'm not talking about your current iPhone, but just iPhones in general.
For years.
More than 5 years?
Yes,
And how old are you now?
I'm 20.
And when did you get your first iPhone, if you remember?
I don't remember.
12, 13?
Yeah, around middle schoolish.
Maybe 7 or 8 years. Is that a decent estimate?
Yes,
And in those 7 or 8 years, you have learned how to operate an iPhone, the various features that they have and the apps that you can download and use, correct?
correct.
And your current iPhone has a number of apps on it, correct?
Correct.
With regard to the text message app, you'll agree with me that that is
Chantel checking in. $5 Canadian. We got our Canadian friends watching tonight. Thank you so much from north of the border. She says, watch for her smirk as she says the word harassment just before the waterworks. I know. It's so perfectly timed out, too. They know that Colin Albert's going to be testifying next. I know Lally probably knew she could hit that emotional nerve with her, and she's going to talk about the harassment. Oh, the harassment. All right, let's keep playing.
is a green icon with a white sort of speech bubble in the middle of it.
Yes, I believe.
And you know that when you click on that, it gives you a list of the text messages that you're exchanging with people, the various threads, correct?
Correct.
You know that if you click on a thread, it opens up the individual text messages that you've sent and received to that particular person, correct?
Correct.
And you know that if you take your finger or your thumb and you hold it on one particular text that's either sent to you or from you, you can do things with that individual text, correct?
Correct.
You can
What do you mean?
forward it to somebody else, right?
Correct, I believe.
In the context of a conversation, you can just reply to that one particular text message, right?
Correct.
And if you do that, rather than hit the arrow button where you forward or reply, on the left side of the screen, there's a trash can, correct?
I'm not sure.
You know that you can delete a text from a thread, correct?
Correct.
And it's a trash can that you
Oh.
click on, right?
Correct.
I'm not trying to trick you.
No, I was confused. Sorry.
No, I don't mean to confuse you. So you know that if you click on the trash can, it gives you an option to either cancel or to delete the message, correct?
Correct.
And what happens if you delete the message?
It's deleted off the
I wanna-
phone.
Okay,
I'm gonna
so it's
slow this
gone
down.
from that
I
thread,
wanna hear
correct?
this.
Correct.
And
A little too fast.
somebody looking at a screenshot that you take after you've deleted that message, it wouldn't be evident that that message was ever there, correct?
Correct.
Excuse me. Harassment. Oh, my family.
Now, you testified at a hearing in Boston on August 3rd of 2023, correct?
Yeah, and that's the
Correct.
funny thing about it. And I'm glad that Scott brought this up because I talked about this earlier, how she's denying the 365. I mean, the feds have it. They know. And to lie about it and say that it's not accurate, it's a digital footprint. And Scott says, Allie got ambushed. She had no idea that Yannetti was going to hit her with the FBI info about her phone. She literally did not know what to say other than cry and complain about Turtle Boy bad, sickening. So right, Scott, 100%. She didn't know she was going to get whacked with it. And, it's the feds have it. So I don't know why you're trying to say that it's not accurate. I mean, who was the guy that got done in by Snapchat? Murdaugh got done in by Snapchat, that digital footprint. Geofencing is a hell of a thing. Believe me, it's a hell of a thing. And I think geofencing is going to get Brian Koberger in the Idaho 4 case too. So mark my words on that. Anyway, let's keep playing.
Correct.
That was, and we're not with a jury present, that was a federal grand jury, correct?
Correct.
And
Oh, he definitely
you
did not.
had- by that point, by August of 2023, you no longer had the phone that you originally had
UI
on January
guys up
29th
front.
of 22, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
You had gotten a new phone in December of 2022, correct?
Okay, I'm not sure what time, but
Does that?
yeah, I got a new
Right.
phone. I believe I got a new phone.
But, and actually, the timing is not that important, just that it was before that grand jury appearance.
Okay, yes.
All right. And what did you do with the old phone when you got the new phone?
Transferred
Through iCloud, everything transfers over.
Okay, but I'm actually talking about the hardware itself, the
Oh, what did I do?
iPhone.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes, I'm sorry. Not the data on the phone. I understand that you've testified that you transferred that to the new phone, but the actual physical phone itself, where did that go when you got the new phone?
I'm not sure.
Would that have been traded in?
Possibly.
You don't have it now, correct?
I don't think, no.
And as of August of 2023, you didn't have it either, correct?
Correct.
Is it fair to say that no investigator from this case ever asked you for
Right.
that phone that you had on January 29th?
Correct.
They
Right, so,
never-
Ms. Dianetti, can we just focus on the voir dire? All that you're doing, you can cross-examine her with, but on the voir dire of this.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'd just like to get the jurors back in.
No, I understand, Your Honor. I understand. I was trying to lay a foundation, but maybe it's not necessary. With regard to
If you need to do it, go ahead. I'm just trying to.
I want to accommodate the court, Your Honor. With regard to the messages that are in a given thread, right? We've talked about the fact that you are aware that you can reply to them, an individual message, forward or delete one, correct?
Correct.
You're also aware that it is possible to change the timestamp on any individual message, correct?
No, I'm not aware of that.
You go to
Wrong
settings
answer.
and you go to
Right?
general and you go to date and time. First of all, you can change the time zone of the message. Do you have your iPhone with you right now?
Not on me.
Not on. And in addition to being able to change the time zone, you actually can change the hour and minute to whatever you want it to be. Were you aware of that?
No.
G checking in saying, why didn't Turtle Boy post today? Hope everything's okay with him. He was posting all day. I was following him on Twitter all day. Seems everything was fine. And he was on Facebook. If you didn't know, he got suspended on YouTube for a week. So that's why he probably wasn't streaming there and you might have missed it. But you can go over on Facebook and connect with him over there. And he's been tweeting all day too. Just look him up, Aiden Carney, Dr. Turtle Boy on Twitter, on the Twitter. All right, let's keep going here.
With regard to photos on your phone, you are aware that you can change the date and time of any photo in your photo app, correct?
Nope.
There is a little, when you go to your iPhone, there's a little I for information. And all you
Welcome,
need to
G.
do is,
No
or
problem.
I think it's for
Still there.
info or information. All you need to do is click on that and you get a pop-up from the bottom that gives you the choice to alter the date and time. Did you know that?
No.
Next to that date and time is the word adjust, and that's all you have to click on. And you can change the time from 12:10
Why is she looking at
a.m.
Lally?
Or you can change it from 12:40 a.m. to 12:10 a.m. Or you can change it from 1:45 to 12:10 a.m. And it's that easy.
Yep. Now I know. I didn't know that. I didn't do that.
I may have a moment.
Okay.
Why is she looking at Lally? Yeah, exactly, G. Help me.
That's it for the one here one.
Okay. So
Excuse me.
I'm going to allow this testimony in. Your argument goes to the weight of the evidence, not its admissibility. But I did, under Commonwealth versus Tracci, want to give you your voir dire. Okay. All right. So let's bring the jurors back in.
All right, so jury was out of the room for that. On the record.
Yes, P-U-R-D-Y. Your Honor, before the jurors come back in, may I just retrieve the exhibits?
Yes, but I'd like to see counsel at sidebar while they're coming in.
All right, I'm going to speed this up. Let's just wait here for a second. Karen smiling a little bit today. Nice to see that. She cut her hair. It's a little shorter. I can't believe she's going through this. This is unbelievable. Oh, man. All right, let's speed up and get back to testimony. I'm going to sneeze. Hang on.
And Mr. Lally, I have an instruction to give if you're going to put in that screenshot.
Yes.
Okay. Jurors, before
We're going to get cross. Oh, yeah, because they were out on voir dire. So you're going to get cross first. Let's go to, I'm sorry. You're going to get direct first. Let's go to cross. So I don't really feel like getting put to sleep by Lally.
In reference to your friend Colin Albert, as far as his face, his arms, his hands, is that fair and accurate portrayal of what he looked like on the jury this afternoon, correct?
All right, let's go to David Yannetti on cross with the jury in the room. Oh, what'd I do? Son of a gun.
With reference to
No. Let's go back. Sorry, screwing this up.
sustained.
And finally, I
Go
just
back.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm screwing this up. All right, let's do time it. All right, David Yannetti. Here we go.
Okay, and just to wrap this up, to this day, no extraction has been done on your phone, correct?
Correct.
Now, when you had that Zoom interview on August 25th, you told the trooper that you drove Colin straight to his house after you picked him up on January 29th, and then you went straight home, correct?
Yes, I believe.
And you have previously testified back in August of 2023 that you believe you dropped Colin Albert off at his home at around 12:15, 12:20 or so?
Correct.
And when you left, and by the way, you're very familiar with 34 Fairview, right?
Correct.
That's family, correct?
Correct.
Been over there many, many, many times, correct?
Correct.
And you're familiar with the neighborhood in terms of the streets that are around there, right?
Correct.
And you've lived in Canton your whole life?
Yes. Yeah.
When you were a baby,
Paula, thank you so much for the Venmo. Add $10 to the total. We're going to kick back 25% of all donations tonight back to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. Paula says, love your show. Love the new digs. Thank you so much for the 10. Thank you for the support. And thank you for the 25% support back to Karen. We'll get that posted up at the end of the night. All right, let's keep going through and finish this up.
Yes.
basically you're a Canton girl, right?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury the route that you took home from 34 Fairview, or actually strike that, the route that you took to Colin Albert's house when you left 34 Fairview on January 29th?
I don't remember specifically, but I would believe I drove up Fairview. Then, sorry, I don't know the streets.
If I suggested to you that the street closest to 34 Fairview was Cedar Crest and the one on the other side is Chapman, does that refresh your memory?
Yeah, so Chapman.
Okay, so
I
you would have
believe.
gone up and gone to Chapman and taken a right or a left?
Really bad with directions. When I got there, I went to the center of town, his house. I don't know specifically which way. I'm trying to think of it. I can't picture it.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Washington Street in Canton?
Yes.
Would you have wound up on Washington Street?
Yes.
All right. And you're aware that the Canton Library is on the corner of Washington and Sherman Street. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you would have passed by the library?
Yes.
Now, with regard to whether you went straight home, did you, by the way, when you went home, did you stay there?
Yes, I believe so.
For in the rest of the night?
Yes.
I forget when does Unetti hit her with the 360 life data? Is that coming up soon? Because I can't remember. Again, I was listening, like kind of conspicuously listening at work. It's coming up soon. All right. Here Rogue says here comes the boom. All right. Because I'm kind of getting like, you know, I'm anticipating it. So everybody knows. I think now it's coming. All right. All right, let's pause. Let's breathe because this is going to get good right here. It's going to get good right here. All right. All right, let's finish this one up.
Okay, and what time
Here
do you
comes the
say
ocean.
that you arrived at home?
I'm not sure. Before around 12:30ish.
Okay. With regard to Life 360, would you agree with me that if you go on that app,
See how her head turned? That's like, she's like, yeah, I'm almost out of this. I don't think they're going to ask any questions. Life 360, her head turns right to the other side. Attention comes up, chin comes up, eyes focused on Unetti now. Oh shit, here it comes.
and you're trying to figure out where somebody in your family is, there's and let's say you want to know if somebody's home.
Jury's in the room.
There's
Yes.
like a circle that surrounds your home, correct?
Yes.
So once you enter that circle, you know that Life 360 gives an alert that said you arrived at home. Even though you're physically not walking the door, you're within that circle, and that's the home circle, right?
Yes.
On
Looking at the
January
jury.
29th of 2022, at 12:04 and 53 seconds, you arrived within that home circle, correct?
Correct.
You notice the lip comes in, it tightens. She looks at the jury, she starts blinking. She knows some hard questions are coming. And again, I'm not an expert. I've been in sales for over 25 years. I sold wristwatches for 16 years. You get to know body language being that close to someone. You can kind of tell. I could always tell when I had someone that was going to buy. You know, you get those signals. They start getting interested. Their body language raises, you know, and on the vice versa, you can look at it and you can tell when someone's not interested. They start looking around. They start kind of like losing interest. So, you know, I pick up on all these little visual cues. Again, I'm not no body language expert. I'm just saying from years of hand-to-hand sales experience with people. I noticed the body language shifts. She got a cross on too.
And then
Bit the lip.
at 12:06 and 55 seconds on January 29th, you left that home circle, correct?
Correct.
And then on January 29th of 2022 at 12:23 and 14 seconds, you completed a 7-mile drive where your top speed was 42 miles an hour. Does that make sense?
Correct.
And then you left home
Check it in.
on January 29th.
Now she's fidgeting because she knows she's up against the wall. She's fidgeting now. You're not going to be able to back up. You back up, you're going to fall out of that chair. But that's she's fidgeting now. Microdot says this is devastating. Yes, this is the big moment. You haven't subscribed to Microdots, you need to subscribe over there. Check out the YouTube channel and also on Twitter. Drop Microdots on Twitter, drop Microdots on YouTube. You got to get over there and subscribe. You haven't watched any of the Microdots video, you're missing out. All right, let's get through this.
2022 at 12:23 and 14 seconds as well.
Uh-oh.
And what that probably means, reading between the lines, is that you entered that home circle, but then you didn't go home. You went through the home circle.
I agree.
And completed a 7-mile drive somewhere, right?
I guess I thought I went home. I'm not.
Objection, Your Honor.
She's looking at Lally.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear your answer.
And that's why Lally's objecting, because Lally's sitting there, and I have to agree with Micah Dots. Lally's sitting there and he goes, oh shit, this is not in the rehearsals. It's coming. It's about to get interesting. All right, let's keep playing.
I believe I went home.
Okay.
I was completing my drive out my house.
My hoot.
All right, but
I'm Canadian for a second.
at
My hoot.
12:26 a.m. on January 29th, you left home again, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
Did you leave home?
She's
I
confused.
don't know. I don't remember.
All
She's
right.
fucked right now. She's looking around. She's shaking. She's scared. She didn't expect any of this. She's looking for someone to save her right now.
And at 12:26 a.m. and 12 seconds, you arrived at the Canton High School, correct?
No.
On January 29th of 2022, at 12:26 and 55 seconds, you completed a 1-mile drive where your top speed was 43 miles per hour, right?
I don't believe so.
The deer in headlights.
And then at 12:26 and 55 seconds on January 29th, you left Canton High School and arrived at home on January 29th of 2022 at 12:29 and 28 seconds,
Now,
correct?
she's trying to process right now. If you see her eyes, she's processing like, what the fuck? Like, she's like, what the fuck is going on? And you're getting times down to the seconds. So you're trying to process all this. Like, what does this mean? Where is he going with this? She, like you said, this wasn't in the rehearsals. This banged her out hard.
I do not know.
You don't know.
And then after arriving home again on January 29th of 2022 at 12:29 and 29 seconds, you completed a 12-mile drive on January 29th of 2022 at 12:31 and 22 seconds. Did you not?
No.
And then you left home on January 29th of 2022.
I love this too. That tactic Yannetti just pulled. He knew that she was going to say no. He knew probably going further, she's going to say no because she hasn't rehearsed this. She hasn't practiced it. And what did he do? He didn't even fucking skip a beat and just goes right to the next question. Doesn't debate her. Doesn't debate her at all. Just goes right to the next question and just lets it flow. And he's just doing this and he's like, keep sinking yourself. You're going to sink yourself. You know, you're going to do it to yourself. You're sinking yourself right now. That's essentially what's going on here.
At 1:08 and 15 seconds, right?
I don't believe so.
Now she's going to
And
throw up that wall,
ultimately,
that defense
you went
wall.
through the home bubble and the Canton High School bubble, and you arrived at Canton High School on January 29th of 2022 at 1:28 in the morning in 8 seconds.
Can I see what you're?
Did you see the eyebrows? Now, because this hasn't been rehearsed, she wants to look at it because maybe she can start making some sense and try to tailor her story a little bit more. But what's going to happen is she knows that she got so fucked during this testimony that when Lally gets back up and asks her about the harassment, she's going to throw the tears out there and look at the jury to try to redeem herself because she knows she fucked up so bad here. All right, let's keep playing.
Referring to?
Sure.
She wants to try to make a story here now.
May I approach you on?
Yes.
You probably don't need these, right?
No, I'm good.
Lally's like, fuck.
Okay, and to make it easy, I mean, you can read the whole thing, but where it says record 16 is what I just asked you about, but feel free to read the whole thing.
Thank you.
And if you would, read it silently to yourself and look up at me when you're done.
So she's sitting there and she's going, how am I going to put this story together now? I didn't see this before. This wasn't, we didn't go over this. We didn't rehearse this. She's going to try to put a story together here. And then she's going to know. And then this is where she's going to start denying and say, oh, no, this is not right. Oh, no, the digital footprint is wrong. Oh, no, it's not wrong. I mean, it's there. It's in black and white. Digital footprint doesn't lie. I would say probably 99.999% of the time, a digital footprint is not going to lie. It is what it is. It's there. And then after she knew she got so screwed during this, and I was saying this before, she got so screwed doing this, she's going to turn on the crocodile tears to try to win the jury back. All right, let's keep playing through. Am I crazy for saying all this? Do y'all agree? If you agree with me, throw one in the chat. If you don't agree with me, throw a two. Let me see some ones and twos. Am I crazy here? Because that's what I'm getting from all of this. That's how I'm feeling this. We're getting some ones. Yeah. Now she's like, fuck.
Oh, I'm sorry. You what?
When she looked up, she's like, fuck. What am I going to do? What am I going to do here? what am I going to do?
Sorry. May I push?
Yes.
Microdot says, I nailed it.
Did that help refresh your memory on where you were that night?
No.
Yeah, here we go.
Do you still dispute that you went straight home and didn't leave
You're
there?
looking at Lally. Lally, help me. Help me, Lally. I need help. We didn't rehearse this. We didn't go over it. I need help. Get me out of here. Quick, get me off the stand.
Objection.
Sustained.
Help me.
And finally, I just asked you about arriving at Canton High School on January 29th of 2022 at 1:28 and 8 seconds. You arrived at home within
Did you see that? That's almost like, I'm defeated, bro. I have no idea what's going on. That she was getting ready to do that. Ready?
that home bubble on January 29th of 2022 at 1:30 in the morning and 26 seconds. Correct?
What time did it say I arrived at high school?
1:30 in the morning and 26 seconds.
And what time did it say I arrived at high school?
The high school was 1:28 and 8 seconds.
It wouldn't have taken me 2 minutes to go from the high school to my house. I'm confused.
With regard to the high school was also one of the bubbles, one of the areas where you could be, right, on Life 360?
No.
If I may. Yes.
She's nervous. She's licking her lips. The brows have gone down now. He's going to try to refresh her again. She's going to try to say a digital footprint is wrong. I mean, I can tell you everything. Anything on an iPhone, I mean, it knows where you are. It knows what you've done. I mean, Snapchat is the one that sunk Murdoch. And I'm going to tell you, we're hearing a lot about Snapchat in this trial so far. I'm going to guarantee you some things are going to come up about Snapchat. Because you notice the last couple of days of testimony, we've been hearing a lot about Snapchat. I'm telling you, it's coming. All right, here we go.
Okay. Did you say that on Life 360, the Canton High School is not one of the areas that you're tracked in?
What do you mean?
So do you remember we were talking earlier about?
Oh, like put in a location, like that was home, that was high school.
Locations, like, if your mother's looking for you, where are you?
Yes.
Well, you're at D&E Pizza, you're at high school, you're at, home, right? I mean, those could be categories.
Correct.
You've agreed that home was one of the categories.
Correct.
And having reviewed that, the Canton High School is also in one of the categories, correct?
I believe so.
All right. And on January 29th of 2022, the last entry is that you completed a 12-mile drive on January 29th of 2022 at 1:32 in the morning and 23 seconds. And that's the end of the activity.
AC, the door was opened. The door was opened. Ryan Nagel said he was talked to by the feds. And I'm going to tell you this, and I talked about this being the show. The defense team was not allowed to talk about it in their opening statement, but if the door was opened, they could talk about it. So I'm glad that Yannetti got this in. Absolutely. 100%. The door was opened. All right, let's see let's see the dumpster fire continue here.
Do you agree with me that that's when you finally stopped that night?
I don't recall.
I may have a moment.
Yeah,
Yes.
microdots, great point. 12 miles that night. Where did she go? Where were you? And I'll tell you one thing.
All right, Mr. Lally.
Thank you.
I want to hear the redirect because I want to watch her cry. But I'll tell you one thing too that we found out that his parents allowed. Well, actually, a bunch of things. A lot of people drinking and driving for one. And Colin Albert was underage and he was drinking. So I just want to make that point as well too. All right, here we go. Crocodile. The harassment.
Now, Ms. McCabe,
Oh, please save me, Lally.
with regard to, did you get rid of your prior iPhone or did you upgrade your iPhone?
Upgrade.
Smashed it.
And that would have been in
Brian
December of
Albert.
2022, is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Was it sometime around Christmas?
Yeah, probably.
And that could have been a present as far as getting a new iPhone or upgrading your iPhone.
He sounds
Yes.
like Hannibal Lecter.
Now, as far as any of the
Hello,
information that
Clarice.
you were shown, as far as
Good to see you
screenshot,
again.
did you in any way, shape, or form alter or delete any of the content within that text message from January 28th and the 29th of with Colin Allen?
No.
Now she's gonna look at the jury.
And
Now I'm gonna look at the jury when I say my answers because I need to convince them.
with reference to changing times or
Well, we'll take it on.
time
We're
zones
gonna-
or
we're gonna
anything
look at
on
this.
text messages before Mr. Yannetti asked you any of those questions, were you aware of any of those things as things that you could do with your phone?
No.
With regard to Life 360, what, if any, knowledge do you have as far as the accuracy of sort of the timestamps that are contained within that app?
Well, I'm not sure, but on the photo he showed me, it says like turn Wi-Fi on. So that like remind Allie to turn Wi-Fi
Well, I
on.
like this now. She's a digital forensic expert here now, and I can't believe that there was no objection to this because she's not an expert. She's not an expert in Wi-Fi and digital evidence, or I don't know what the hell to call it, but you know what I'm talking about. She says, "Oh well, the Wi-Fi would probably mess all that up."
On, so that could have affected the accuracy.
How do you know that?
And that was
Are
on
you an
literally
expert?
every single one of the alerts that was on that page that he showed you.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Now, Canton High School, do you know what street that's on?
Washington Street, I believe.
And
Yeah.
about how far a ride is it from Canton High School to your house?
7-8 minutes, 10. I'm not sure.
You were in the bubble, Canton High School at 1:28 in the morning. Could you have possibly been in the bubble of your home at 1:30 in the morning?
No.
And unless you were going 90 miles an hour in a snowstorm?
No.
Look at Bev twirling her fucking glasses.
Now, you were asked some questions about
Look at Bev.
that time frame of August of 2023 when you were asked and you turned over sort of screenshots to troopers from the state police, correct?
Correct.
You were asked about previous times indicating that you weren't asked and it wasn't relevant, correct?
Correct.
Now, you know why you were asked in August of 2023 versus any prior time period?
Because Colin Albert wasn't in the house, and then it was brought up
Canadian.
here that he was.
And brought up where?
By the defense.
And around that time of August 2023?
I believe so. Yes.
And with reference to relevancy, is that what you were talking about?
Correct.
And what, if anything else,
In the house.
you're close friends with Colin Albert, is that correct?
Correct.
What, if anything else, has either your family or
Uh-oh.
Colin Albert and his family
Here
under?
it comes. I need to look at the jury and make my point because I screwed up. And that's probably what Lally said. If you screw up, the last questions that we're going to ask is about the harassment, and I want you to cry and look at the jury. Get the Oscar. We need an Oscar here. Ready?
Gone over the course of the pendency of this case.
Objection.
No, the door's been opened. I'm allowing it.
Well, basically harassment.
Harassment by who?
Bloggers, people online.
And what, if anything, in relation to Colin Albert being in the house has occurred as far as the harassment that you're talking
Can you rephrase?
about?
Gotta build
With
it up
reference
here.
to what you were
Here's
talking about as
everybody
far as the
get-
relevancy of Colin Albert being in the house at that time, what, if any, harassment was there in relation to that and in relation to Colin?
Well,
Objection.
No, go ahead. She can answer.
Colin wasn't at the house, so
Yeah. I need to look at the jury and make my point. Believe me. He wasn't there, jury. Why are they protecting him so much? It's a little interesting, right? If I was a juror and I was sitting there, and let's just say I didn't, obviously didn't know anything what was going on, I would sit there and think logically, like, why are they protecting this kid so much? They keep trying to say that he wasn't there. I mean, that would be on my mind. Why would they be protecting him so much? Things that make you go, Remember Arsenio Hall? Things that make you go, All right, let's back up a little bit. We'll play through this and get through it. It is weird, isn't it, Danielle? I wish I don't. Maybe I know what I can do. Ready? This is what we need. Get a little water on the face. I don't know. Can you see the tears? I don't think I did a good enough job. Okay, let's go.
23.
I believe so, yes.
And with reference to relevancy, is that what you were talking about?
Correct.
And what, if anything else, you're close friends with Colin Albert, is that correct?
Correct.
What, if anything else, has either your family or Colin Albert and his family undergone over the course of the pendency of this case?
Objection.
No, the door's been opened. I'm allowing it.
Well, basically harassment.
Harassment by who?
Bloggers, people online.
And what, if anything, in relation to Colin Albert being in the house has occurred as far as the harassment that you're talking
Can you rephrase?
about? With reference to what you were talking about as far as the relevancy of Colin Albert being in the house at that time, what, if any, harassment was there in relation to that and in relation to Colin?
Well,
Objection.
No, go ahead. She can answer.
Colin wasn't at the house, so he's being harassed he was not at the house when John was there,
Why is
so
he so
I drove
Canadian?
him home.
Why is she sounding Canadian? He wasn't at the house. Why is she got a Canadian accent? Is she from Canada?
The people are harassing him saying he was at the house when
House.
it's not true.
It's not true.
When you speak about harassment, what specifically type of harassment are we
Constant phone calls, emails, awful messages.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, Colin was at the. She burns herself too. The biggest bombshell. Colin wasn't at the house when John was there.
Focus on this witness, not Colin Albert at this point.
As far as you and your family, what, if any, type of harassment have you received?
People showing up at our house, people emailing my school.
Pull it. There's no
just like
tears.
a lot of harassment. Can I have a moment, please?
Sure.
Where are the tears? I don't see anything. There's not one tear. Pull your eye.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There's
And,
literally
how
no
long a period
tears.
of time has that persisted for?
Very long time.
And I don't know how someone could cry that quickly and then compose themselves so quickly. It's interesting.
Thank you. I have no further.
No further questions.
I have nothing further.
Perfect
All right,
timing
Mr.
for
Cable,
Colin
I'm
Albert. Colin wasn't
Your
at
next-
the house when
Your
John was
next witness,
there.
Mr. Lally.
Right.
Yes, Your Honor, the Commonwealth will call Colin Albert to the stand.
All right. Oh, Colin wasn't at the house when John was there. I love it. Boom. Bada ba bada 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 boom. So I think that's going to wrap up the show. What do we have for a total for Karen Reed's defense team tonight? Give me a total. What's the total? What's the total before I go off air? We need to watch Bang Bang. I don't know. There's really nothing interesting though. Tomorrow's the cross. We're at 160, 42 for Karen. Let's do this. I'm going to be so kind and round that up to $50. $50. I'll drop the $50 after the show. Get receipts printed up, posted up on my Facebook page and my YouTube community page for transparency. And then I always drop the link. You can always go there and look at recent chat donations. It will say recent donations. And I put LTL Media, Chat Raiser, and then I put the date there just for full transparency for everybody. We're at 2 hours. We're going to wrap up the show tonight. I appreciate every single person for jumping in the chat tonight, sending all the super chats, the love. Look, I'm trying to do the best I can here. I have a full-time job, but I try to pop in as much as I can and keep the ship rolling. And tomorrow's going to be a very, very interesting day when Alan Jackson is going to cross-examine Colin Albert. I'm sure all of you will be watching all your respective streams. Everybody that's been out there and following the Karen Reed case, all those creators, everybody's been doing an amazing job. Melanie Little, The Glarer, Mike over at the Young Jerks. You have Aiden, the King, Aiden Turtleboy Carney. And if I'm forgetting people, I'm probably Tom CPU. I love you to death. You've been killing it as well. And then all the people that go out to the courthouse almost every single day, you do your part as well. And all the viewers that watch all of us and support this and get the message out there and let people know that Karen Reed has been framed and she's factually innocent. And I believe in my heart of hearts that the jury will see through all of this bullshit and Karen Reed will walk out that courtroom acquitted and a free woman. And then hopefully, finally, we can start going after the people that murdered John O'Keefe. I want to thank all of you here for checking out my channel. If this is your first time over here, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Please get connected with me on Facebook, because if you are not getting my notifications, I post every time that I'm going to go live. You can find me on Facebook at LTL Media, and you can also follow me on Twitter. Ooh, my Twitter handle, it's changed. What is my Twitter handle? I should know this. My Twitter handle is Let's Talk Live YTC for YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter. I'm very active on both of them. I'm trying to get the Instagram going as well. You can check me out on Instagram as well at all these handles. I can't keep them clear. LTL.media.ytc. You can follow me on Instagram as well. Or you can just do this. Go to my link tree and connect to all my socials. And I'll drop that in the chat. So again, tomorrow, Colin Albert on the stand. Look, I appreciate everybody for supporting LTL Media. I don't know if you saw this. Before I go, this is pretty fucking cool. I started this channel. If you're first over here, I started this channel in my bedroom, and just casually, did things with it. And over the last year and a half, I've really stepped up the content on the channel. I came to my studio. I'm in a studio now. It's pretty incredible. But I came to my studio the other day, and I was pleasantly surprised my landlord put my placard up on my door. I have a placard now. It's official. The LTL Media placard is on the door. And I have to say this. This dream would not have come true if it wasn't for all of you, all the subscribers, the members, the supporters of the channel. It would not have happened. And I appreciate every single person that comes here and watches the lives, every single person that has supported me through all of this. And believe me, I get kicked down a lot. There's a lot of people that love me, but there's a hand, my few that hate me as well. But I'm not going to let the hate overcome the good, because there's a lot of good that will come out of this. And this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I am trying hard to make this happen. I want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to become a fully fledged independent media company. My heart is here inside this studio. You don't know how hard I work outside of all of my life activities, between my full-time job, balancing friendships and relationships, taking care of my elderly mother, and all of the other things that go on in my life. Believe me, I always find time, so much time, for this channel. I absolutely love doing this. It's been a pretty emotional ride, and my life has changed so much, especially in the last 3 months. I would have never thought that I would be inside this room doing what I do, doing what I love. Listen, I might not be the most well-spoken person. I might not be the most well-educated person, but I'm live and I'm loud, and I will put this back in your face, and I will give you my interpretation of what I see. Kind of like when you have that conversation with someone out on the sidewalk. That's what you're going to get with me. But I love to analyze things. I love what I do. I've learned so much through this process. And I've learned so much from all of you. You're all amazing people. And dreams can come true. Believe me. Don't fucking listen to people that tell you that your dreams cannot come true. If you work hard at it and you continue to do it, it can happen, and it will happen. And if you believe in yourself, it can happen. Believe me. No one else is going to do it for you. You've got to make it happen. Keep believing in your dreams. It's fucking awesome. And I've enjoyed every single moment of this. And I hope, I just feel good inside that I know that I'm doing something good and I'm doing something righteous. And I completely believe in this movement. I completely believe in all of you. And I'm so glad that I've been accepted by so many of you. We'll keep doing what we need to do. Believe me, we'll keep doing what we need to do. So thank you all for letting me get that off. That was raw and unfiltered. And free Karen Reed. I will be out at the courthouse on Friday streaming live to watch Karen walk into court. I'm going to spend some time out there with Tom and Scott, Paul, Chrissy, all the amazing people that can get out there every day. I wish I could. I really wish I could, but I try to do the best I can and play my part in all of this. And all I want to do is just continue to keep raising money for Karen Reed's Defense Fund and keep helping her out. She needs us. She needs us right now. So keep doing what you're doing. Spread the word, Karen Reed, in any way that you can. And we know at the end of the day, she will walk out of that courtroom and be exonerated and be acquitted. A free woman. All right, everybody. I'm going to get out of here. I'm Brian. This is LTL Media. I'm live. I'm loud. You're going to have to get used to it if you stick around. I love all of you. I'm going to hit the outro. Thank you for all of the donations tonight. I promise I'm going to get the donations up right after the stream and I close up shop. All right. I'll be back soon. I promise. Oh, by the way, I'm trying to think. Friday, I'll be out at the courthouse streaming live. Probably going to take this weekend off. I'm going to head up north for a little while on vacation and get out of here a little bit. But I will be back Thursday and Friday next week streaming court live, and I'm going to try to squeeze in some lives in between that. Check me out on Facebook, LTL Media. I post a lot on there. And if you're missing the bell, turn on your bell notifications. If you're missing my shows, you got to do it. All right. I'm not going to waste any more time. I love all of you. God, this is an interesting trial. We got 6 more weeks. All right. Hang in there. Love all of you. Bye.